guys, it's Bree with Calafia Candle Company. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all have been well. For today's video, I thought I would do a little refresher on how I make my wax melts. These are made using a coconut tart wax that I absolutely love. So if you're interested, just keep on watching and let's get into it. So this is the wax that I use for my wax melts. This is C55. I normally get it from either Hive and Honey or Porter Candle Supply. And this is a coconut tart wax. So I use coconut wax for my candles and I wanted to just kind of keep it all in the same family. So I went with a coconut tart wax for my melts and I love it. I think it throws extremely well and the melts last a good while as well. So I'm super happy with this wax. Typically when making wax melts, you're going to want a much firmer wax than what you use for your candles. So this one is definitely a lot firmer. I have to use a mallet to break up these slabs. And as you can see, I can't even break that apart. It is really hard, which is perfect for wax melts. So here is my current wax melt stock, and as you can see, I am out of trestles and pretty low on all of the others, which is actually kind of rare for me. I feel like my wax melts definitely don't sell as well as my candles for some reason. I'm not sure if it has to do with just my area around here or what, but not a lot of people buy wax melts until recently. For some reason, they have been flying off the shelves, which I'm very happy about. So I need to make some more to build inventory back up. This is my little Presto pot that I use for my C55. It is quite small, so it really doesn't hold a whole lot, which is okay for me because my wax melts, like I said, don't typically fly off the shelves until recently. So I might need to look into getting another TOAUTO for my C55 wax. But over the years, this little guy has been my little trooper for my wax melts. Okay, I think that will be good for now. I am going to turn this on to about 220-ish, which is typically the temperature you want to heat this wax to. This is the wax melt packaging that I am currently using. I say currently because I am always switching up how I package these things, but somehow I always come back to these clamshells just because they are so easy and simple to use. You literally just fill the wax into these cavities here and then close it up, slap a label on there, and it's ready to go. So they are very easy to use. I get these specific ones from Midwest Fragrance Company, but you can find these all over, including Amazon. I find it easiest to put my warning label on before I pour the wax in. That way when they're nice and cool, I can just close this and put the scent label on the front and they're done. So the warning label I like to put on the inside of the lid here. And I will link this specific size label that I use below. These are actually the same size labels that I use for my candles. So it's nice to be able to kind of cross-purpose them and use them for multiple things. So I just try to put that on in the center and smooth it out. And there we have our warning label. Alrighty, the clamshells all have their warning labels on, and what I've done is just laid them out on the table and put a little post-it note for each scent and how many I need to do for that scent to make sure that I have 5 clamshells total in inventory for that scent. So now I'm gonna go ahead and check on the wax, and I'm gonna show you the tool that I use for pouring my wax melts. So this handy dandy tool is a little pancake batter funnel, and this just makes pouring the wax melts so much easier. You can of course use the pouring pitcher, but I think it just saves your back to use something like this. I've actually started to use this too when I remember for my candles, just because it's really helpful. The only tip I have with this is there is wax hardened in there from the last time I used it. So I am not going to push down on this to lift up the stopper because it's going to break it. I've done that before. So what I like to do before I get ready to pour is run a heat gun down there and also on this side here just to loosen up that hardened wax. That way when we go to pour the first set of clamshells, it's not going to break that because because like I said, I learned that the hard way. While I'm waiting for the wax to get to temperature, I've just been weighing out my fragrance oils and getting that done ahead of time. It just makes it a heck of a lot easier. I like to use 10% fragrance load with this wax. It can hold anywhere from 8 to 10, but I find that 10% works pretty well for me. So the last one I have to weigh out is my Hermosa scent, which is the Dark Dahlia from Black Tie Barn. I absolutely love this scent. So we are doing 4 clamshells, so I'm gonna do 24 grams of fragrance oil. These clamshells hold 2.4 ounces or 68 grams. All right, we are ready to pour. I just ran the heat gun over the funnel as well as the pouring pitcher. One thing to note with this wax is that it does cool very fast, so you do want to work rather quickly with it. So warming up both of those tools will help us keep that wax warmer for longer. So we are doing 4 clamshells for the Hermosa scent, so I need 248 grams of wax. Alrighty, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and immediately add my fragrance oil. And because the wax is heated to such a high temperature, I only need to stir it for about 30 seconds. Now I'm gonna go ahead and transfer that to the funnel. I like to kind of hold it over the clamshell for a few seconds after I'm done filling it up, because if it drips at all, I want to make sure that it's landing in the wax and not on the actual clamshell. If it does, that's okay. You can clean it up with some alcohol. If you are using plastic clamshells like these, definitely check wherever you get them from. A lot of the times they'll have a recommended pouring temperature, because if you do pour with your wax too hot, you have the potential of melting the plastic, which would not be good. So definitely check on that. These have a max temp of 175 degrees. Now, depending on your temperature, as these are setting up, you may notice that they start to look a little bit wrinkled like that. That is totally fine. It's not going to affect the way that these perform. It just happens because this wax cools so quickly. So some people like to do a second pour. So they'll fill these clamshells about 85% of the way full, and then once it starts to set a little bit, they'll come back and finish it off. I personally just do it all in one pour. I don't mind that wrinkled look. My customers don't mind. The wax melts still perform beautifully. These are all cooled down and ready to be closed and labeled. So I'm just going to use the same size label as I did for the warning. And there we go. There's our wax melt. And there is what the back looks like. I usually will let these cure for a week and then they're ready to use. One last thing I wanted to share with you guys is that I am now an affiliate for Replica Surfaces, which I'm so excited about. I have been wanting to try them out for so long and I finally did. And yeah, everybody's right. They are such a game changer when it comes to product photography. As you can see, I have some props laid out here. I was taking some photos for my website yesterday and they just make the biggest difference in my photos. They look really professional and just well done. So I do have a referral link down below and a discount code as well that gets you 15% off. So definitely check that out if you are interested. They are so awesome. Well, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, feel free to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.